At our core, 6 values drive who we are and influence our daily decisions. Core Drive highlights a team member who embodies these values. This episode focuses on core value number 6, own it. Ownership isn't a title, it's a mindset. It's about taking initiative, solving problems, and seeing things through. Technician Josh Jones from the Albertville office truly lives this value. He steps up, takes responsibility, and drives results, not because he has to, but because it's who he is. This is Core Drive, where our values come to life through the people who live them. Let's hear from Josh about what own it means to him.
There is a lot of descriptions that could be used with that. Own it. I definitely own pretty much, my situations that happen inside of homes, or, if the customer says, hey, I really loved or enjoyed you coming out, I own that for sure. But other than things that's like own it, this right here, I use this as my office. I make this feel like that this is my job, as in I own this.
Taking pride in his workspace is just the beginning. Josh also owns the work itself and how he engages with the customer.
Owning my work, it's pretty much boasting but not boasting. I'll let the customer come out. I'll let the customer be right beside me while I'm doing all this, just to make sure that they are very comfortable in, having dish installed or fixed or anything like that. Always, most of the time I have a crowd around me anyways. So I always like them to be right beside me, me showing them what I'm about to do, and make sure it's okay with them.
Ownership also means learning from experience, and Josh reflects on the lessons that shaped his approach today.
Back when I first started, I've had a customer ask me to just drill through the wall and just, send the cable up and over, to where I could just get it to my daughter's, bedroom. I said, yes, sir. Not but a couple of days after, I got a phone call. It was for a damage claim. And they asked me, did you do that? I said, yes, sir. I said, I drilled through the hole. I drilled a hole through the wall. I sent the cable up and over, like the customer said. I said, yes, I did do that. And back then, of course, I didn't know, you can't just drill through the hole and just run it above the door frame. I didn't want to run it underneath because I didn't want nobody tripping on it. But I owned up to that. I said, yes, I did do that. And of course, I called the customer right after, apologizing, about what I had done. And in this job, you will make mistakes, but owning up to it and making it right, that's the main thing. Because you don't want to leave something, out in the open. Accountability is the main thing. If I'm going out to a job and it doesn't look good and it was behind me, I'm taking ownership of that. I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, it was this guy that did it, or hey, it was this guy that did it. No, I'm taking full responsibility if that job did not look good after I left it. And that's why I take a lot of time in making sure that the job is done right and done right the first time. It goes a long way.
Those lessons pushed him toward real growth, influencing the mindset and habits he carries into every job.
Coming into this job, it was difficult at first. It really was. It was difficult. But as soon as I got my hold on the concepts of how to run it to here, or, if you get into a situation where it's no line of sight, you can always find a way to get that line of sight. If a tree's blocking, set it on the other side of the house that has no trees. And coming into this job in April of 2024, I went from tier 1 bases to now tier 5 in just a year and a half. It's because whenever I'm doing my job, I'm making sure that this house that I'm going to, I'm going to treat it like mine. Like, how do I want my house to look when I'm putting up my own equipment? I want it looking nice and neat. I want it to be grounded off. I want to make sure that the customer is happy with what they're getting and love what they're seeing. You know, they might not know what you're doing, but if it looks nice, presentable, then they're gonna absolutely love it. I've helped out several people on customers that, you know, they're about to leave Dish. I'm tired of Dish. They're doing this, they're doing that. And I explained to them why they're doing these things. And like, you're the only thing that's keeping me wanting to stay with Dish. You know, I'm not trying to boast. That's not what I try to do. I don't try to show myself out. And getting to do this right here it's a great opportunity to show that, because when I came into this, I was nervous as all get out. I didn't know nothing about communications, but the only thing I did was listen. And once I listened to my trainers in Birmingham, and once I listened to my TDS, and then my FSM, when I listen to them, I absorb it like a sponge. Different times when I have some of the techs that call me, hey, you know, yeah, I found out this. You can do this to get this to work. And I'll use that. Like putting on a connector onto a very cold coax. A lot of people struggle to try to get that connector on. But if you put a ground block on it and use it for leverage to push it on, you can actually get that connector to snap in and it'll work. And you're not hurting your hand or accidentally getting that stinger put into your hand. But that right there, it shows you teamwork is definitely where you get to actually step up. You know, you get the actual advice from them and use it as yourself. And that's what I do with mine.
That growth mindset doesn't just shape how Josh works, it shapes how he shows up for his teammates every day.
There's some times where I'm calling up one of the techs that we just went behind because of an upgrade or something like that. You know, I'll just say, hey, you know what? I just went into this house, dude. Them drip loops look amazing. Like, I absolutely love what you did with them. I tried to do the same thing, you know, try to do the same thing because they wanted a Joey, and so I just put a Joey in. So I just matched what you did in there. Like, I'm always applauding and I'm always making sure that my teammates are, you know, not in the dark or, you know, on a slim day, because there's several times where I've had a tech call me and say, hey, you know, I'm not making no sales today. And I would just reassure them that it's not bad to make no sales. You just got to make sure whenever you get in there, you're putting on that smile. You know, you're making sure that the customer's laughing like how I did. You know, I'll always make the customer laugh, make sure they're comfortable, because that's the main thing too.
That supportive spirit shows up in his role as a TDS, where he takes ownership of preparing new techs for success.
To own it, when I give in my trainees that type of talk, it's whenever you're going into a job, make sure that, you know, you're doing it right the first time, you know, and not having to have to come back and forth, because I never want any of my trainees to have a TC on them the first couple of weeks, because it's not that they're not doing something right. It's how am I training them? Am I doing the best that I can for them? I always own up to what I've done, especially in this job, and I want to make sure that my trainees know how to own it, how to own up to it too. From day one, when I started to do this training, I made sure that every single one of my trainees heard the same thing. And that's to make sure, you know, line of sight, all that. Because I don't want them to go into a job thinking, you know, it's going to be a quick, easy fix. I want them to look at every point from the LMB to the solo hub, from the lines that's running each other way, you know, from hub to hopper, back of the hopper. Make sure that it's tight. Make sure that the cable to the joeys are tight. You know, I always want to make sure that it's a smooth process instead of them, you know, getting very upset and, you know, getting angry and frustrated, because when you get angry and frustrated, you can't think straight. And I always tell my trainees to just keep calm and just think. If you have to, walk outside, sit in the van for just a few minutes. Just, calm yourself down, because you don't want to get overly, frustrated at a job, because a lot of our techs do. And when that happens, then you have some people that have not so nice words coming out of their mouths, because I always want to reflect the company through us. I don't want none of that to happen.
His approach to the job is deeply personal, too, shaped by the values and faith that guide him.
When I came to this job, I prayed. I said, hey, can I have a job that's going to get me out there? Get me to share you. And exactly what this is. I've had several instances where people were down on their faith. And I said, God's got you. That's all I had to say. And then the next time I came out there, they were preppy, they were happy. So definitely God has set a big life-changing when I came to this job. And it's awesome. Like, I can't fathom just how much I love doing this job.
At the heart of those values is his family, who continue to influence how he works and who he strives to be.
Being a father is definitely one of the biggest keys in my success. My kids, definitely my wife. If it wasn't for them, I definitely would not be able to do what I do out in the field. My major is my wife. She's the one that definitely calms me down to the point where I can actually think, or I can actually feel, and then coming home to my kids definitely is a stress relief, knowing that I'm doing all this for them. Another one would be my mother. My mother has definitely inspired me. She was a single mom, and she really didn't have any help. She was always there for me and helping me through the toughest times and telling me things I didn't want to hear. And at that time, I needed to hear them. She's one of the biggest ones that's helped me out through this.
Outside of work, Josh finds strength and joy in the moments he shares with his loved ones, even through life's harder chapters.
The things that we do is, it might sound like a nerd family, but we all play games together. We all play video games. We play role-playing games like D&D. It's got a lot of things that we can implement with our kids because they are homeschooled. So we can use that to, do math or do history or, science, stuff like that. And our favorite thing to do really is they like for me to chase them. Like if I was going to Judy chop them in the head, that's their thing. Anytime I say I'm coming after you like this right here, they're off to the races, running. So that laughter is what really gets me. It makes me feel a lot better because I know that they know that their dad loves them. And I lost my father in 2016, and it was kind of hard to be a father when your father's not there. And the love and inspiration that my father gave to me is implemented 10 times more now that I know how my father loved me. And my kids are definitely going to see what a father's love can do for them, knowing that dad's out there working for them and bringing home and providing for them. So that's my number one thing.
All of these experiences shape how he defines the value own it, which he shares as we close.
My name is Josh Jones. I'm out of the Albertville office. I started in April 1st, 2024. And what own it means to me is just do what you got to do. Make sure you're doing it right. And also make sure that it's to standards. Because you always want to make sure that your name looks good when somebody has to come out and look at your work. So just own it.
Josh reminds us that owning it means doing what you need to do, doing it right, and holding your work to a high standard, because how you show up reflects on you. That's what Core Drive is all about, recognizing the people who live our values out loud.